What happens when the stories we buried in the dark become the very ones that set us free? Join the show this week to hear all about it from Tamara Morgan, author of Done in the Dark. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Williams Cromer, and I am your host for the Ranch and Stilettos Presents Cocktails and Conversation. Today, my guest is the Tamara Morgan, the author of Done in the Dark, one of my favorite books. Love, love, love. Hello, Tamara. How are you?
Marcia, I am.
It's so good to connect with you. I love the way that our stories intertwine. You know, we've kind of had the same sort of path to this writing world, corporate, America, life first. You were an attorney
I was.
for a bunch of years.
We'll say recovering, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say evolving. All of that, everything that you and I have done before fits in, melds in, leads to where we are today.
It's so true. It's beautiful. Really, the path is beautiful. And there have been times when I'm having so much fun with this, with the whole writing journey. Not to say it's easy, girl, because oh my God, and you think when you're starting out with the writing, oh my God, the closer you get to the end, you're like, I'm doing this. I'm going to push send. This is going to be a real book, right? And I think for me, I was so satisfied with the completion. And then the book sells, you realize I did not do this just to, have some kind of vanity book, So you have to get into the marketing, you have to get into the sales, you have to meet people, you have to, hit up the social media world, which is something that I was absolutely not comfortable with. But I do find the more you do it, the better and easier it gets. But part of me, just for a second, maybe a little longer than a second, was not regretting, just hating the fact that I didn't start the journey sooner. But everything happens when it's supposed to. I couldn't be happier. Share with me your process. How did your journey go from attorney to published author?
Well, there's so much that's packed in there. I will tell you, as you were saying it, I remember years before I retired, I was helping people move into DEI, and our theme that year was ease on down the road.
Okay.
And whole thing, everything, the PowerPoint, everything was based on ease on down the road, which meant I had to introduce people to the Wiz because they knew about the Wizard of Oz, but they didn't necessarily know about the Wiz.
Right.
So for all y'all that are listening, that is an adaptation of the Wizard of Oz that had Michael Jackson and Diana Ross and other folks that you may know about. So look up that movie.
Right.
The music that went with it and the song. So it was a whole thing that you had that yellow brick road, but it was a little bit different feel and vibe to it. And so I was introducing people to, ease on down the road. We're going to get there. Mm-hmm. We are going to get there together. And so there was so much that I was able to pack into that concept about DEI and the coming together. And this is all universal. And so as you were talking about that, I was thinking about my journey as an author in the same way. And part of this journey has been, okay, just ease on down this road. We're going to get there wherever there is, because the writing of it was its own process, right? So I started writing this book while I was working. I've been writing on this book for years, girl.
That's interesting.
It was my therapy.
Okay.
As I was practicing law, different things would happen. I'd be like, okay, let me just write a little bit. So this book and various iterations of this book have been going on for years. It wasn't until end of 22, beginning of 23, my husband passed.
Oh, wow.
I was sort of isolating myself. I needed to try to get myself back in the world a little bit.
Right.
That I felt, and I'm like, let me go on and finish this book. I promised Emmanuel I was going to finish this book finally, and I was able to do that. So I finished the book.
That was an added layer of motivation.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Let me do this. And it was also one of the only things I could get my brain to do. I could not interact with people.
That's interesting.
What I used to do. My job required me being there for people.
Wow.
Helping solve problems, helping to show them how to ease on down the road, bringing them together. I couldn't do any of that. But what I could do was focus on these characters. I could focus on their problems. And I'm putting you away right now. But real life people, you can't tell them, shut up. I'm not doing with you today.
Right.
I'll open you back up when I feel like it.
Right.
So that it was a healing process for me to work on the book. But what I will say related to what you're talking about is the process of marketing and promotion and all that. I didn't know anything about that. And
Right,
if I
right.
had approached this book and this process the way I had approached my career as a lawyer, we would not be sitting here today
Okay.
because I would have stifled myself. Like
Yeah,
I would have gone down the rabbit hole of researching and what do you need to do and how do you need to do it. I would have expected myself to become an expert in all of these areas. I
mm,
would have because I didn't do marketing. I'm not a salesperson. I don't do that.
right,
I would have needed the money. I would have needed the Marshals and all of these people to
right,
teach me how to do that. I would have needed to figure out, well, where's the money going to come from to hire these people because I don't know how to do it.
right.
And so that would have shut me down. I'm like, you know what? I'm just put these little staples. I bought a three, not a three hole puncher, but a self binding thing.
Uh-huh.
Put my little draft together. I self bound it, and I would have sat it on the desk and said, "See, look what I
Yeah.
did."
But it
But
was supposed to see the light of day. It was supposed to see the light of day. That's why it came to fruition. And me as a marketing professional, you would think it would be easier. Not true. Because I'm used to not self promotion, but promoting other people's projects, other people's products. But when it came to self promotion, I think it just because I've done PR for long enough, it's just that feeling that it's not a good look that you're telling the story about yourself. Let me tell that story for you, right? And why would I pay somebody to do that when I know how to do it? And I have learned so much along this journey. It has been humbling. I'm taking notes from kids that are half my age and younger because they know how to do social media better than me, right? But I'm open to listening because I am someone who always wants to learn. And in that vein, I had a writing coach to help me, and what did you do? Are you just kind of self-taught, took the time to get there?
so the writing, I mean, it's all very humbling. The writing itself, I wrote the book, I thought it was done. I mean, I have
Well,
edited folks and rewritten things for people my whole career.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, like that is what I do.
yeah, yeah.
And I've been a good writer in the legal field, legal profession. I mean, that's
Hmm.
what helped me get where I was. So
Right,
I knew I was a good writer.
right.
Fiction writing is different. I've taken some classes. I've had professors say, "Oh, this is good. You should try to get published." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So I didn't think I needed a lot of help with the writing. Yeah, well. So
I
I thought
know.
I was finished. And then right before, so then I was like, oh, you send out some queries. I did that much research, send out some queries, and then you wait and you wait. And it's like, oh, I don't like this process. I'm old. I'm too old. Like, I should have started this in my 20s. How long you got to wait to even to get a no? They don't
Right,
even have decency to tell you no. You just,
right.
if you don't hear after a while, that means no. Oh, this is never
Yep,
mind. I
yep.
could just self-publish. But even then, so at some point I was like, maybe I should at least reach out to an editor. So I had the presence of mind to say, you know what? People came to you because you had expertise.
Hmm, hmm.
I should probably talk to someone that has expertise.
Right.
That makes sense. So I did that. I talked to someone. I did that research, found a an editor, did a developmental consultation, and took her input. I was like, that was good advice. So made some tweaks. Now I think I'm ready to go.
Right.
Let me go back to that editor and just say what she thinks about what I did. Money well spent. Because
Ah,
then she says, like what you did, think about this, think about that. But I was like, I like this. And what I found, one, you don't have to do what they tell you to do, right?
exactly,
You're still
exactly.
the boss.
Exactly. You're the author. You wrote the story, but I will tell you, an editor's eyes on your book means everything because they really can help it be a better story if you have an open mind to it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what I found was she gave me great suggestions, but what I also realized is all these years I'm used to working in an environment where there's more than one voice. I One of the things that I did as a DEI leader was stressed the importance of having more than one voice in the room on the team, right? You
Right.
need to have different perspectives in order to get the best result.
Right.
And so having more than one perspective was really important. And so that was helpful to me. I was like, oh, yeah, you've been teaching people this for years. Duh, take it into account. So practice what you preach. So got that input. The book got much tighter, got much better. So then I was ready to publish, put it out there. All of that was great. And then it became time to actually promote and market it. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yep. Yep.
Now I'm nervous because I'm so used to talking to people and helping people I can get in front of thousands of people and talk, or in a small room. I can negotiate, I can market. Oh, you want me to tell something about me? That feels so
So
immature.
I know
That's tacky.
it's totally different. Well, I want to toast you for your success on your book. I love it. It is a
Thank you.
wonderful read. So
And
here's to
I
you.
brought my teacup because we spill tea when we talk about Done in the Dark. So
Yes, yes, I love that. Mm. So talk to me about the book and just give me an overview, synopsis of what the book's about so the readers know.
So Done in the Dark it's contemporary fiction, and it is a novel. And yes, it is fiction because that's the first question. Oh, is it real?
Oh, girl, please, we got to talk. My book is romance and all of the stuff, the freakiness that's in the books. People are looking at me like side eye. And what's really hilarious is I have teachers who've actually read these books. They bought them because I wrote them. And I was like excited at first. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's my first grade teacher. Oh, not good, not good.
She's probably proud of you, girl. She's probably proud of you. Like, yep, I
Oh,
saw it in her in the beginning.
yeah, they're taking a little bit of credit.
So my book is about I'm gonna tell you two different ways. I can tell you the character, this plot without spoilers, but I'm gonna tell you the overview. The
Okay.
overview of this is it's about family secrets, forgiveness, accountability, empathy, all these things, all the things that we in our families and our communities need to think about, talk about, be able to touch and work through, because we don't always go to therapy. We don't know how to approach certain conversations when it's one-on-one and we're talking about ourselves.
Right,
No,
right,
we need to talk about that. So this fiction, my book and other books, gives you an opportunity to touch on some subjects that may be difficult, but we need to get into it. So that's my overarching thing, why I love fiction. It gives you this chance to
right,
deal with thorny subjects. So
right.
Dark in the Dark is about two sisters, Candace and Karina. They were very, very close. They're like twins growing up. And then in their senior year of high school, some things happen. They start to pull apart. Karina is the younger sister by just 10 months, and she's not comfortable with the fact that Candace seems to be growing apart from her. They have some tension. Something happens, a big thing happens one night, and their lives start to splinter. That's the core of what happens. It happens right then. They fall apart. The book opens at their grandmother's funeral. They haven't seen
Right.
each other for 17 years. Now they want to come back together. Candace had run away. This is the first time they've seen each other after 17 years. Can they rebuild their relationship? But they both have big secrets, secrets from each other, secrets from their husbands,
Mm.
secrets that they do not want to come out. So you get to flashback and find out what happened, some of what happened. And now you're here in the present. Can they do this? And so you see them start to try to rebuild. But as the saying in the book, the grandmother's last words, all shut eyes ain't sleep, all goodbyes ain't gone, and what's done in the dark always comes to light.
Mm.
So while they're trying to rebuild, it blows up. It blows up, the secrets come out, you start to see, well, what's going to happen. That's what the book is about.
I
And it all
love
comes
it.
down to is forgiveness. Who owns a family secret? Who's going to forgive who? Is somebody going to forgive people? Are you going to hold on to that? Are you going to try to get past it? What's the repercussions of it? Those kinds of things.
What was your emotional starting point? You said you were already working. I know the book was sort of, a release for you while you were in that corporate environment. What was the emotional trigger other than your husband? Was it that brought the story? Was there, I always say you write about what you know. And so while my books are fiction as well, some of the things that are there, the foundation of the friendship between the group of sisters, that are the dreamers, that's true. But what was the thing that ignited this story?
Um, I guess two separate things. So one is what the very first germ of the story, and I can't give you all of it, but you'll know as you read it. The very first germ, there was a newspaper article, and yes, back in 2009, we were reading newspapers, actual
Right,
print on them. There
right.
was a newspaper article that came out that they there was a newspaper article that came out that really impacted me. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was because it will give away something in the story.
Mhm.
But
But you said it's 2009.
yes.
Okay.
And it was about something that had happened close where I lived. I lived near where this event happened. And as a result of the incident that happened, this young lady was arrested. And it was all over the news, local news, about this arrest and what she did. And people were vilifying her. And
Mhm.
I didn't know her, just
Right, right.
And she was a young woman. She was in her early 20s. And I too was like, oh my gosh, can't believe she did that. And then I was like, wow, everybody, this is before social media had blown up like it is now. I
Right.
was like, wow, people are really, really going in on this girl. And there was nothing on sort of the other side. Like, but why would she do that? I wonder. And I just wondered, like, but what about that? And what about her family? And what about the other side of that? And it didn't sit right with me. So,
Right.
like I
Right.
said, I can't tell you what it is because it would give away the plot of the story. So there was that little piece. And at the same time, I have three daughters. At the time, my husband at the time was a girls basketball coach.
Okay.
So there were constantly young women, young ladies, always in my life. I had raised my sister, so always girls, 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 all the time. And the relationship between girls and their friendships and their when friendships fall apart, when they get back together, like that was just a constant in my life. And watching how much how those relationships were critical to young ladies and how devastating it was to them when something could, and it could be the littlest thing, but when something would make them fall apart, like watching a relationship between young girls flip, oh,
Yeah.
that's devastating. And I'd see
Yeah.
that over and over and over again, and just seeing how it changes the way they interact with each other. And I think those two things converged for me at that time, seeing all these high school girls and middle school girls go through relationship changes and
Right.
all
Right. Right. Right.
things. Just I was like,
Oh, that's amazing. But as a writer, you don't even realize how much you're paying attention to those nuances in relationships, right? And which is really what makes you a good storyteller.
you just see it. There's stories.
So let
Every
me let me
around you stories.
let me ask you, many times as writers, we will stop, and this is so me, when the pain gets too close to the pen. The pain can get too close to the pen. Now, my process for that is usually I'm already crying when it happens because I'm a crier. My family is a running joke. It's just like, don't let her even come to the funeral because she don't know how to act, right? But then they'll ask me to speak, which I'm like, it doesn't go together. I can't stand here and speak when I'm all emotional, but I push through. I push through it. But when I'm writing and I get to a point that really resonates with me, and I'm like, oh, this is good. And it's good because if it's got me crying while I'm actually writing the words out, somebody else is going to feel that the same way. What do you do when you hit that point? Because I just have to back away from it.
That's interesting. I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. I think I do know the feeling that you're talking about. That
Right,
was as you
right.
said it. I was like, well, when are those points? What point can I think of in my book when?
It can get overwhelming actually. And the thing is that because you've given yourself a deadline, sometimes you don't want to stop. You want to push through. And I've learned over time, you may as well stop because you're distracted and you don't realize it. So just walk away and then come back.
I think part of what I probably do, I write a lot that never gets into the final
Yep.
book,
Yep.
But now I'm just in that scene. So when I write, I swear I swear I'm writing a movie or a TV show or something because I see it.
Yeah.
Every,
Yeah. Of
I
course.
see these characters, these scenes. Like I'm writing a scene, not a chapter.
Right.
Even though I've never tried to write a screenplay, I don't think I could because there's not enough words. Right? I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
are they doing?
Exactly.
There's no words here. But I was thinking about when you just said that there's a point in the book where Anna Izora is so when one of the characters, when Candy runs away, she runs away to, or no, she didn't run. This is not when she runs away, but there's a point at which she goes to Texarkana, and that's where some of their relatives are. And an elderly aunt or an older aunt. I can't say elderly no more because I feel like I'm too close to it. So an
That's
older
other
aunt,
people. Not that's other people.
yeah, like someone a little older. She's there and she is comforting her, but she's getting wisdom from her and she's getting that nurturing that she needs at that point in time. And there's a point at which she goes, or when she first gets there, and she goes to hug her, and Azura says, I'm here. And so she comes at one point and she just sits on the floor next to her aunt and just lays her head in her lap. And she's like, oh, it's just so much. And she's like, I'm here, just give it to me. And I just felt like
Yeah.
in writing it and reading it recently,
Right.
because I lost an aunt just last week, and I just feel every time I read that, I feel what it's like to have that kind of love, that kind of relationship where you can go to an elder, whether it's an aunt, or uncle, or whatever,
Yeah.
know that they will receive your pain, your whatever it is you have that you need to
Mm,
pass. They will
mm.
receive that from you, and then in receiving that, they're giving their wisdom, they're giving their love.
I love it. I
That
love it.
if you can give that in your writing, if you can remind someone to tap into that with
I
somebody,
love that. Yes.
that's
Yes.
beauty. That's joy.
That's everything right there. Right there. Talk to me about the Tam fam. I got the ranchers. Those are my
You got the ranch.
followers. I got the ranchers. So
Ranchers
you
and
got the Tam fam. What's that? How'd that come about?
so, I was trying to think of like, what am I going to call it? Because, you think, well, first of all, you think you write this, you're like, somebody was like, well, what's your fan club? I was like, fan club? I'm just hoping I can get a couple people to read the book. You guys are stretching fan club. That sounds crazy. But, I got daughters.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so they're like, no, let's think ahead. Let's think ahead. So I was like, okay, if we get some readers, let's bring them into a community. So the Tam Fam is about a reading community.
Yeah.
Let's anybody that happens to pick up this book, to me, y'all are all family now. We are all in this together. And so that's what I wanted to convey. I was working, I don't think I have a copy of it. I was working with ChatGPT, y'all, trying to come up with how do I build more of a sense of belonging to that. So we're coming up with a little badge. But the tagline now, I'm gonna have a tagline:
Okay.
read, believe, belong.
Love it. Love it.
That's the whole thing, is we're
Love it.
part of a family, and it's not just believing, it's not believing me, it's believing what we're doing, what
Right.
the themes are, because it's about, like I said, forgiveness and empathy and talking about the things that we're kind of afraid, or we step away from, in life. We're not sure if we want to talk about family secrets, but every time I go to a festival or a conference or something, people walk up to that table, they're like,
Yep.
oh, let
Yep.
me tell you,
Yep. I was
Uncle so and
literally,
so, and
oh, I was just going to tell you, I was just listening to you. I was going to ask this question. So, those first few times that I was at a book signing, and I have no idea, I felt like I was actually, a poser. Like, I just, okay, I wrote the book, but, I'm a poser. I mean, who am I? But when people come up and want to talk to you about how a scene that you wrote resonated with them, changed their life, made them feel like they weren't alone. It's like you give the world this gift and they give it back to you in tenfold, right?
it is the most beautiful
It is.
feeling when strangers, here I am, I turned 60 this year. Here I am at 60 years old,
Yeah.
having tears because perfect strangers have come up to me and said, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
What? I'm like, I've been a lawyer, I've done all this other stuff, and people come up and say, you wrote this book, I'm so proud of you, and have made me cry.
I know. I know. I know.
Because
It's like I
the
said.
importance of literacy, the
Oh,
importance of literacy, of reading, of having the ability to affect people through the written word, through reading, putting a book in someone's hand and having them feel not just the ability to read, but the urge, the feel like I have to finish this book and I have to
oh,
share this.
that's everything. It's everything.
Oh my God.
Those
It,
people that would come up to you and be upset almost because you did something to one of their characters that they
oh,
didn't like, right? Or they're upset because you had them up for 2 or 3 days because they couldn't put the book down. Biggest compliment ever.
it is the best thing ever. I've had book clubs that tell me what's happening with it. No, Miss Tamara, that's not no. What's really going on with Karina or Candace is, I said, oh, okay. I've had them tell me this. This is a brown liquor book. I need to talk to somebody about some branding, because this is the third time somebody said it's a brown liquor book. I need to get with Hennessy or somebody.
Okay, that's right. And you thinking like a marketing person.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, partnerships, sponsorships, absolutely. I
But
love
yeah, I stayed up all night. I threw the book across the room, and then I came and picked it back up because what? That is it. It means everything.
it. Does. It
And I'm
does.
gonna tell you, I have written some very good legal briefs. I have had some, I've had some good outcomes in the law, but I never had nobody say, "Ooh, that brief you wrote, it kept me up all night. I was so
Right,
excited."
right, right. Because it connects on a visceral level with people. The story does, right? So my last question to you would be, if you were going to give some words of inspiration to the folks watching this show who are on the fence, they've got that story, they've got something that they want to tell, the story is in them. How would you encourage them to, what would be the first step you'd say to take?
I had a call with someone the other day who here's the best another real encouraging thing is somebody says, well, would you mentor me? I was like, oh my gosh,
I know, right?
I'm still working on myself. But that's part of it. You're reaching as you climb. So we
Right,
bring people along. So
right.
what I say is what people kept telling me is you start writing. You just keep writing, right? You can't if you are so focused on the end
Yes.
goal, like, oh, but I want to make it be this big novel, and I want to be on Oprah's list, I want to do this, you will get stalled. You will
No.
right here in the beginning because
Yeah.
that's too big. It's too big a bite to take.
Yeah.
And so the first step is sit down somewhere and put pen to paper or fingers to screen or get on your phone. Do whatever it is that you need to do to start getting your story out.
Right. Right.
And don't do what I and a lot of people do is be so focused on the perfection of it. You
That.
know,
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
get the draft down, get some version of what you think you want your story to be out. And you can always work on it, revise it, do blah blah blah. You can do all that stuff later, but just start getting it out because there's something about getting it there that starts making you feel like, oh, maybe I can actually do this. And the this changes as you go.
Right.
But you
You
end up
know,
with different.
I've got a series that's 4 books, and the first book, like any parent, oh my gosh, I sweated over every single word. And part of me, I feel like I needed it to be perfect because I didn't want people to respond to me in a negative way. And then at some point, I got the advice from someone is that, and actually, I mean, this is like I read like a major writer like Clancy or somebody, right? People would come and say, "Oh, I saw a misspelled word in your book or whatever," and his answer to them was, I'm a writer, not a reader. And it's not to say that you don't read books, but you tell stories by putting each word on the page until it is a complete story. If you start going through that narrative and looking at every single word, and that's what you pay editors for, right? And then you find out even they miss stuff.
Yeah.
So at some point you got to release it into the wild, and most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, people aren't reading it to find mistakes. They're reading it to find the message and the enjoyment behind the story.
Now I'm real bad at that. I'm gonna be honest
Oh,
with
I
you. I'm
know.
real bad at that.
I'm,
It's hard for me to let it go.
oh,
It's
that
hard.
first book, I was just like, I must have gotten maybe 30 different versions of the author's review copy, where it's just, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, why am I doing this? What,
Yeah,
what am I postponing?
right.
And finally, once you sit it out there, yeah, I had some folks, reminding me that, grammar or issues or whatever. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. But did you like the story?
Well,
So you got readers who read from the standpoint of being editors, really, instead of, you know what I'm saying? So again, at some point, you have to realize perfection is probably not going to happen, but you can protect yourself as much as you want, and it's still going to be something that somebody finds. So,
so we're starting with what's the first piece of advice? Right. Because
right.
you don't get to the point of is it good enough? Is it ready for
Absolutely.
publishing until you've
Absolutely.
actually written it. You got to write
Absolutely.
some stuff.
I
You get to
love
the
that.
point
I
of
love that.
now, am I ready? Is it ready to go? You get to that point. You can pull that trigger later. First, you got to write something.
That's right. That's right.
So I did read, and I was at the Writing Sisters Summit. I'm promoting here
Okay.
in Bali.
Nice.
Oh yes, yes. And Sadiqa Johnson, wonderful, wonderful author, was one of the instructors there, and she gave us all kinds of information and instruction on character, building your characters, and all kinds of things. And one of the books that she suggested is Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. Anne Lamott. So I read part of it the other day, and the part that stuck, it's called Bird by Bird for a reason. There's a whole story in there, but basically, her dad, who was a writer, gave advice to her brother, and he was overwhelmed because he was writing this middle school or high school project about birds, and he'd done all this research, and was like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And dad said, you take it bird by bird.
Oh, wow. I
Mhm.
love that.
And that, I mean, and for that resonated with me. It's like, yeah, it's just a little bit. You just
Yeah.
do it a little bit. And there's every writing book, every guide tells it in a different way.
Right.
That's the point. You just
Yeah.
do what you can. You do a little bit at a time. You just take it. So figure out how to make that work for you. But you just start writing and you just do a little bit, you do a little bit, you do a little bit. And then
I
you
love
write
it.
the whole book.
Tamara, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
So my website is tamarawritesbooks.com. If you forget that, it can be tamaramorganauthor.com because you can get there 2 different ways.
Okay.
You can go on there, and if you sign up for the Tam Fam, which is basically just give me your email address and whoop, look at there, you're in the family.
I love it.
I will send out very, very sporadic messages and tell you what's going on in my world. One of the things that's going on in my world is I have the audiobook that's going to be out for the holidays. And it's going to be narrated. She is working on it right now, narrated by Angel Peen.
Okay.
So that's coming out literally in a few weeks. And the last thing I will share is I'm doing a challenge, a 10-day reading challenge. So we're going to be all together on social media because I'm figuring this stuff out. We're going to approach it this way so people can get the book and every few days check in and share their reflections and all. And this will be a way to kind of lead into the holidays.
Love that. Love that. Listen, I want to shout you out for coming on the show, give you a toast, and let you know how much I appreciate and admire you. And again, I feel like our walks are so similar because when we met, we just like clicked
Oh,
instantly.
yeah.
And basically, new writers that have a lot to tell and a lot of stories to put out there. So, cheers to you.
Thank you, but you as well.
Mm.
You, I just appreciate how welcoming you are. You know, when as a new writer, you meet someone and they just say, come on, you're part of this sisterhood. Let me share everything I know. Let me teach you something real fast. Let me tell you, you're part of the community. And that your willingness to just give from your heart. Here's what I know. Here's what I can teach you. That just means the world to me. So I appreciate you. And Ranchers and Stilettos, I haven't gotten to all the steamy parts, but now I'm gonna be moving fast to get there. Be like, did you learn that from your first grade teacher? What?
Girl, I'll tell you, I'm still having so much fun with this process and these stories. And again, it's technically 4 books, but one long story, if you will.
That's
It's just, I'm honored to even have a chance to have this new project in my life, this new career in my life, and I approach it the same way I did my marketing career.
well,
I'm at it every single day.
this is what we do. And this is part of what I say. This journey, we just ease on down the road. The
That's
road,
it,
we
baby.
have so many different places we're going and we're finding it as we go. I got a sequel coming next year because it's all still one story. It's all one story. We
Yes,
just, we make these little stops and
yes.
stops. So I want to know what your readers think about Done in the Dark. The challenge will start next week, but you don't have to wait for the challenge. You can find my books on Amazon and wherever else, but you can also go to my website. The ebook is only it's $5.99 on Amazon. It's $5 on the website. So you can do it lots of different ways.
Right, right. And actually, we will put in the description the links and how to get there as well. So it'll make it easy for folks. And feel free, guys, that as you're watching this, to add comments so that I can share back with Tamara your thoughts and feelings.
We're gonna spill some tea.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Or some brown liquor. I don't know.
I'm with the brown liquor right about now.
Brown liquor book. I'm just telling you, that's what I've been told.
Thank you, Tamara. And thank you, folks, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Marcia.